Hello, this is Juan Novales, and today on this quick tip, we're going to be looking at ways to speed up our workflow for converting video files into different formats. If you're like me, you work with video all day long, and it's just nice to have quick ways to just convert them for web or for editing or other purposes without spending too much time opening and closing your whatever software you use to convert video. Now today specifically we'll be using Apple's compressor, which is part of the Final Cut 7 suite. We're also available in its new version on the App Store, and Adobe's Media Encoder. I'm sure most of you have at least one of those. We'll be taking a look at how each of those automates the file conversion process for us. Save us a little bit of time. So we have Media Encoder and compressor. The last thing we'll need is a video to test them on. And I have just the video for you, right fresh from my college years. I think it's the first time I ever learned to do lightsabers in After Effects, which led to hours and hours of fun for my roommates and I. So let's get started. We'll first start with compressor, which utilizes droplets. Now a droplet might look like just an icon on your desktop, but if you take your video and you drop it on the droplet, you'll find that it will convert your video into the format you preset your droplets to be within a matter of seconds to minutes, depending on the size of your video. And you can see right here it is currently working on processing this copy of my video that I'm converting. And one way to tell when it's done is that you'll see a thumbnail on your desktop appear when it's finished converting. There we go. I now have a 720p web version of my video, which I can upload. You can create as many droplets as you want for as many uses as you want. For example, right here I've created a droplet that converts footage to ProRes 422, which I use for editing. So to create our droplets, simply open up compressor. Let me go ahead and delete my file right there. And when compressor first opens, you can just cancel that dialog box. Take a look at the bottom left corner, and you'll see here that Apple has a ton of presets that you can choose from to convert your video for. If you're familiar with compressor, I'm not going to go into heavy detail on these right here. Just know that if you don't quite know what you're doing, you can just pick a format. For example, when I created my droplet right here for editing, I just went to the QuickTime folder right here and found all these presets for ProRes 422, which is what I use to edit with, and I created a droplet based on this preset right here. Here, for example, is a custom preset that I made myself, which it was for my Web 720, and you'll notice that each of these settings directly relates to these droplets. If you were to delete one of these settings, like a custom setting, you can't delete one of the presets that Apple has right here, but if you would delete one of your custom settings that related to your droplet, you would your droplet would cease to function. So if we take a look down here, you'll see that this one I created, I can modify, and you can start, for example, by taking a setting that Apple has created. For example, right here, QuickTime H.264, and you can right click on it and duplicate it, and then you can take it from there and make whatever modifications you want, whether it's in the video settings or audio or even the aspect ratio as well, for whatever size you may want. So there's lots of flexibility. Just know that you can't change one of Apple's presets, but you can duplicate it and make as many changes down here as you want. Another cool thing about compressor really quick is that you can back up and share your presets with other people by simply dragging them out as so, and you can email this to someone or get one from someone else, and to import it, just bring it back in, and there you go. I'm going to go ahead and delete these two because these are just extraneous copies now. Oh, sorry, just right click and hit delete, and delete again. We'll go back to just our plain Web 720. I'm gonna go to the desktop and delete my current existing droplet. And just to show you how to create droplets, let's get rid of this as well. All you have to do with one of these settings is right click and save droplet as, and you'll see this dialog box which gives you an opportunity to name your droplet, and it asks you where to save it. And right here it says destination for droplet results. Pretty much what this is asking you is where should the final file which is converted be put. And I usually select source by default, which you can always change this later in the droplet. I'll show you that in just a couple of minutes. And basically this can be set to even a specific folder in a project you're working on, for example, to always go to that folder when it's done. And from that folder you can know to upload or do whatever form of delivery you need to for that folder. So for now I'm just going to do source. So wherever my video file that I'm converting is where my new file that I've converted will show up. So let's go ahead and hit save, and we'll see right here that our droplet has been created. So let's go ahead and close compressor, because you don't have to have compressor open to use your droplets. That's one of the nice things about that. And first thing I would like to do is let's take our video file and let's drop it on our droplet again. One thing to watch out for is the first time you use a droplet, you'll notice that it opens up this dialog box. And the reason why it does that is because this option right here to show window on startup is checked. So basically I usually uncheck that because I don't really need to see all this. This is another way which you can utilize a droplet, by the way, and also make changes to its settings. Like I said before, you can choose a destination folder, maybe in your project that you always send your final files to. Do that right here, or you can make other changes as well. You can just hit submit and it'll start converting your video, and since you unchecked that option right there, just hit submit again, it won't bring this up anymore. It'll go ahead and start converting your video file. Once again, we can go back into our droplet by double clicking on it, and just realize you can also, like I said, drop the video file right here as well for conversion, and submit it again, or drop other videos as well. Compressor, or I guess the droplet, will just queue up your videos that you want to convert. So you don't have to wait for a video to finish transcoding to the format that it's set for. You can just keep on dropping them on there, and one by one it will deal with all the videos. Now I mentioned before one way to tell is just wait until this this turns into a thumbnail. Now the video might be very long, and unlike this one, which is very short, which converts really fast, it might be very long, and you may want to get an idea of how long you have. Maybe you want to go grab lunch. So one way to do that is to, once you drop a video on here for conversion, is to open up the batch monitor. Just go up to your spotlight, and I know you can't see it, but just start typing in batch monitor and you'll see it. Oops, let's do that again. Batch monitor. And with your batch monitor, you can click on this computer, and right here you can see the conversion of every video that the droplets are converting and their current status. That way you can keep an eye on what your video is doing and not just look at this blank icon right here. Also, you can see the history of what we have been working on as well. So there is your basic overview of droplets. As you can see, our video is once again finished and will once again be deleted. So I now leave you to play around with and have fun with destinations of droplets and creating droplets and using them to speed your work up. Let's now switch gears to Adobe Media Encoder's watch folders, which are very similar. So as you can see right here, I've created a watch folder, very similarly, Web 720, and same thing over here. So what I would do is take the file that I created, and similarly I can drop it in the folder. Now the only difference here is that Adobe Media Encoder needs to be minimized or hidden and up and running, and immediately it will start to transcode what I put in there and deliver it to a destination folder, just like the Droplet did as well. I set my destination folder as the desktop, just like the Droplet. So as you can see, our file is right over here and is playable and ready to go on the web as well. To create a watch folder, simply open up Adobe Media Encoder, and it may initially look something like this. And let's delete this as well. Let's clear this file. And so what you want to do is twirl open the bottom part of the window, and you will notice that you can create and add watch folders. So I had earlier created this Web 720, and if you have any presets that you've created beforehand within Premiere and Media Encoder, you have access to them here as well. So to create the folder, we click the plus sign right here, and it's going to ask us where we want to have that watch folder. So for example, I put my watch folder on the desktop, but if you look over here, I have a project that I've created, and within my project I've got my project files and assets. So I may want to maybe put a watch folder out here and maybe have it point and deliver files into a folder within my videos, within my structure under videos, so I can import those directly into Premiere, for example, when I'm done, or work with them in After Effects. So let's go ahead and create our watch folder inside my project instead. So I'll create a new folder right out here, and I'll call it Web 1080. And it's a good idea to describe exactly what that folder is doing, at least for me, so I can remember the action that folder has been assigned. So if I hit create, click on that folder, and effectively hitting choose makes it into a watch folder. And Adobe, the Media Encoder, will keep an eye on that folder as long as it's open, up and open to do whatever you have assigned it to do. So right here, it's set to do 720, and that's not what we want. So we can always modify how it converts that file by clicking right here, and let's change it to 1920 by 1080. There we go. And I'll raise up the bitrate as well to 9000, and that should fit the new resolution that I have set right there. And I'll hit OK. I could also save it as a preset as well, which I'll just do real quick. Let's just make a new preset called Web 1080. And then hit OK. And there we go. We now have two watch folders. One's on our desktop, and it's delivering to the desktop. And our second one is inside my project right here, and it is going to deliver to where we choose. So I'll click there, and let's put it inside my assets. Oops, let's do that again. Assets, video, and renders. That looks like a good place to deliver the files when they're done. And so I'll know where to automatically import them now when I go to edit them in Premiere, or maybe work with them in After Effects. Or in this case, since they're for the web, I'll probably be uploading those files to a website or FTP or something. So let me hit choose. So that's been set. I can now minimize this window, or hit Command H and hide it. And so I can go about my day doing my work, and whenever I decide to put a file in here, so let's find the original file that I had, and let's bring it back out the desktop. So if I were to place this file right here inside the Web 1080, or export to it maybe from Premiere, or say, let's just say I was inside After Effects, and I decided that I just wanted to just make a, oops, looks like we lost a file there, but let's just say that I wanted to export from After Effects into that watch folder, I could go ahead and composition and make movie and just set the destination to the watch folder, and when it's done it'll convert to my web format. So that's one way you could utilize the watch folders as well. There we go. So the file that I put there is now done and complete, and you'll notice right here that the two automatic folders that were created in there, source, where my file has been recopied to the original file, and nothing in outputs, of course. So let's check out assets and video and renders, and there is our brand new 1080 version of the Jedi training video. So there we go. I hope you found this tutorial useful. Definitely have fun playing around with all of the settings and folders, and just streamline your workflow. Just to note also, since I showed you in Compressor, you can also save presets and also import them. So if a friend exports a preset and gives it to you, so if you're not as good at creating the exact settings, or you get something from off the web, you can just as well import settings into Adobe as well, Adobe Media Encoder, just like Compressor. Alright, well, for AE Tuts, this has been Juan Novelis. I hope you enjoy the tutorial.